$7 million was reported last fall, but we know we had a proposed budget plan. They don't want to give it to us. They say it's pre-deliberative, pre-decisional, so we can't get access to it. And it tells you exactly how much resources we're spending, or we plan to spend, on this gargantuan special counsel operation. I guarantee there's no other Justice Department investigation with as much resources devoted to it, both for the DOJ and the FBI, as the special counsel.
I mean, if they're concerned about what might be revealed if they give that to you, why not just redact everything? I mean, redact all the line items and give you the total cost. I mean, that seems to be the obvious answer to this.
Well, this Justice Department is terribly secretive when it comes to Mr. Mueller. I've never seen a special counsel or independent counsel investigation with such an air of secrecy around it. We've also asked for the scope of his work. I mean, he's investigating the president and all of his men and women, really. And we're not allowed to ask what he's looking at. And that hasn't been the case with prior independent counsels. In fact, they wouldn't even tell us documents existed until recently, when Manafort forced them to put some material into the court record. Then they gave it to us. This is the infamous scope memo. They did say, well, now that it's out there, you can take a look at it. And we may give you a little bit more of it, because much of it is redacted. You may recall Judge Ellis wanted to see the full memo recently. So we think it's eventually going to come out, but I don't understand. Well, I do understand, but it's not excusable, this secrecy out of the Justice Department protecting the Mueller operation for no good reason, in my view.
Why is Jeff Sessions so cooperative with Mueller, but not with Congress?
Well, the question is, who's running the show when it comes to the Mueller investigation? I think he's recused himself. But on transparency issues, Jeff Sessions is very conservative in a negative way. And so on top of that, you've got the Mueller operation being the tail that's wagging the dog at the Justice Department. And everything they say and do, and all these fights you're hearing about, Spygate and FISA warrants and secrecy around all of that, it's all designed to protect the Mueller investigation, which inherited and is using all the information from those abuses from the Obama era.
Now, we've heard Mark Levin talk about it a lot lately. You've talked about this in the past, that the constitutionality of Bob Mueller's investigation is in question or outright not acceptable on the basis of the appointments clause. In other words, he needs to be confirmed by the Senate given his stature, yet that process never took place.
You know, it's funny, guys. When I call for a special counsel, I used to call for a special counsel every time it rained. And when Mueller was appointed, I went and took a look at the actual special counsel regulations, which were written by the Clinton Justice Department. And essentially they say, you can appoint a special counsel. He shall not be subject to supervision day to day by the Justice Department, and he only can be fired for cause. I mean, you just can't fire him like any other government official, like the FBI director or the head of the Justice Department. He's special. And obviously that is at odds with our constitutional system that has the president running the executive branch. And so when you have a lawyer come into the Justice Department, given the power to prosecute, call grand juries, indict, put people in jail, he needs to be subject to constitutional supervision, meaning either be confirmed by the Senate directly or subject to supervision by someone who is confirmed by the Senate in a practical, significant way. And that's not the case with Rod Rosenstein's supervision. He's not supervised day to day, and the only thing that Rosenstein can do really is after the fact maybe come and argue with him about certain issues.
Mm-hmm. As far as the secrecy goes, Bob Mueller had come out in one of these cases and said, when he was in court, and said, well, they need secrecy because there's so many different investigations going on that if you get transparency, or if they give information on one part of one investigation, it will tip their hand as to the other investigations. Is this normal operating procedure for a special counsel to just be investigating and not have a specific crime to be investigating?
Absolutely not. I mean, that's the Justice Department. When you have a concern about secrecy, that we've got all these investigations going on, some of which never come to fruition. So we're protecting both the innocent and the guilty in that regard, potentially. But the idea that you've got a special counsel that's got so much work to do that we can't figure out what he's doing, when he was hired to investigate a specific crime, but now there's all these other things that we don't know about he's investigating, that's not what the purpose of a special counsel is. And it raises questions again about the constitutional nature of what he's doing and whether he's accountable to anybody in the government, let alone the Justice Department.